What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we build them or fix them together. Now today we are continuing talking about the Bard, and we are talking about the College of Glamour Bard specifically. So if you want to add a little bit of Fey magic to your already very persuasive and, might I say, seductive Bard kit, this might be your ticket. So if so, go ahead, leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, the vast majority of people who watch this channel are not subscribed, and so please help us out. It's my wish for Christmas this year that we get to at least 500 subscribers and then 1,000 by next Christmas. So I think it's possible, I think it's doable, but I need your help. So please go ahead and click the bell so that you're notified anytime I upload new videos, and also share with your friends. Word of mouth really carries well, even on the internet, and so I really appreciate all of that support. So the College of Glamour Bard is a very cool take on the Bard. First introduced in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, this Bard kind of focuses on very much looking the part. A lot of our features here focus on how you look and using that in order to persuade people, in order to make sure that you are more convincing, and in order for them to believe that you are who you say you are, or maybe you are who you are not. So there are several ways that you can use this. It's really cool. It's also very much based on the Fae and things from the Fae Wild, especially. So we may see some Wild Beyond the Witchlight stuff in our build later this week, assuming it passes. So be looking forward to that. Just another reason to subscribe. And so I think that this is a really cool subclass. So let's go ahead and see what we get in this kit. So right off the bat at level 3, we get Mantle of Inspiration, and this is kind of our whole core of the build here. So what it does is, as a bonus action, you can expend a use of Bardic Inspiration, and it grants you a wondrous appearance. So you can look however you want to look here. This is your time to let those creative juices flow. So when you do so, you can choose a number of creatures within 60 feet, and each of those gets 5 temporary hit points, which is pretty great. And when they gain this, they can immediately use their reaction to move up to their speed without provoking opportunity attacks. And this increases to 8, 11, and 14 at different levels going up. This is a pretty cool feature, actually. I mean, no one's ever going to tell you no to temporary HP. That's always good, unless they had more temporary HP at the time you gave it to them. But I mean, this is pretty great. And they get to move without provoking opportunity attacks as their reaction. This could get somebody out of a very sticky situation. Say you are, head first into a barbarian. Somebody is about to destroy your wizard. This is your get out of jail free card. This is pretty cool. I really like this. There's a lot of use there. I mean, you'll use this constantly. It's not something necessarily that you would want to use all the time, specifically to take up all of your Bardic Inspirations, but it's still very useful, and I think that you'll get a lot of use out of it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's quite useful. I don't think it's spammable because you only have so many based on your Bardic Inspiration, and you don't want to waste this giving the exact same temporary hit points you've already given, or if they don't necessarily get the speed help with that, then if they just want to sit still, then that's kind of a waste too. So the problem is it's kind of very specific in what it does, and so you may not always use all of the features with it, but you'll use some of it. So it is very applicable most of the time. Sometimes you may not use it though. Also at level 3, we get Enthralling Performance, and so this is where we begin to talk about seduction. It's a bard thing. This is how you find a dragon to call your own, and this is a very interesting feature. So you can spend 1 minute performing, and while doing so, singing poetry, dancing, telling dad jokes, whatever it is, you can choose a number of humanoids within 60 feet. Notice it's limited to humanoids, up to your charisma mod, which is fine. They then make a wisdom saving throw, and on a fail, they are charmed. So, and then there's a bunch of stipulations with it. This feature really isn't very good. The reason is you could also just cast Charm Person. Now, you may think, well, this gives you the ability to do up to, five individuals. The problem with this is that you have to engineer a situation to get 5 people, the specific 5 people you want, or I guess you could just do NPCs if you need to. But then they still have to make a wisdom saving throw. So you have to engineer the situation, and then they get to make a save. I don't like that. I would rather it be no save here at all. And I would also like for it to not be 1 minute. I think that it's too specific in how you have to set this up, and there are too many hurdles that I really don't think that this is going to be all that useful. You're definitely not going to use it every adventuring day. And so, depending on how fast time moves in your sessions, you may not use this for months in real time. Maybe it's a few days in game, but I mean, you're not going to use this feature for literally months sitting at your table. I don't like that. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. It doesn't take anything away from the subclass, but it really doesn't add a whole lot either that you couldn't do with a spell. And so I just don't really like it. At level 6, you get Mantle of Majesty, and this gives us an interesting interaction with the spell Command, which is a very good spell, obviously, and it allows you to cast it as a bonus action without using up a spell slot, which is pretty cool. When you do that, you take on the appearance of unearthly beauty for 1 minute, or until your concentration breaks. We'll get to that in a minute. And then during this time, you can cast Command as a bonus action without expending spell slots. So you technically get a minute's worth of a minute plus 1 round of free command, which is pretty cool, right? However, it takes your concentration. Command is not a concentration spell as it is. The concentration just lets you look really cool and allows you to cast command over and over and over. I'm not impressed. I don't think that this feature is as applicable as people think that it is. It's not useless, but when you have so many good spells on the Bard spell list that are concentration spells, you want to focus on those. You're not really going to be wanting to focus on casting command a bunch in a minute. Again, this could come up, but I would rather be casting something like Hypnotic Pattern. I would rather be casting some other like really cool 3rd level control spell rather than casting command one at a time on however many enemies it takes. Like, I just don't think that this is as applicable as people think. Yes, they automatically fail their save if they're charmed by you, so it gives you that extra little benefit, but I just don't think that this is as applicable as people think. I'm going with a 5 out of 10 here. You're going to use this like once, maybe twice. Like, it's just not all that applicable. Finally, at 14th level, we get Unbreakable Majesty, and this feature is pretty cool. So basically, our majestic appearance now becomes a lot more permanent, and so we can, as a bonus action, activate this feature, and we get a couple of benefits here. So for 1 minute, not concentration, whenever a creature tries to attack you for the first time on a turn, it has to make a charisma saving throw against your spell save, which hopefully should be very good. And on a fail, it can't attack you this turn and has to choose a new target. And if there is no other target, oh well. There's not a range on this. It doesn't say you have to see your attacker. It doesn't say you have to hear your attacker. It doesn't say you have to, it doesn't say. So if it doesn't say, then I'm assuming that it doesn't mean that. So yeah, if something attacks you from who knows where, you force that creature, wherever it is, to make a save. That creature could be miles away. You force it to make a save. It's not written in here that it has to be able to see you. So that's pretty cool. Charisma saving throws are normally going to be pretty bad on creatures. If it's an opposing spellcaster or, notable NPC, okay, the charisma is probably going to be a little bit higher. But if it's just some kind of beast or some kind of whatever out there in its cave or out in a field or whatever, its charisma is probably really low, and it's got a very low chance of passing that charisma save. So that's very good. So with just that, we've got a pretty good feature, right? If a get off me option, if they try to attack you, you just say no. And it's not that this even burns your reaction either. You just activate it for a minute with your bonus action and it's just there. So it doesn't cost anything else but a bonus action. That's awesome. And it's once per short rest too. It's not even once per long rest. So that's pretty great too. If that wasn't good enough, let's say they do pass their save. There's still a downside. So basically there is no winning by attacking you now. That makes your DM pretty frustrated, and that's what we call a strong feature. So even if they pass the save, they have disadvantage on saving throws against your spells on your next turn. So you tried to attack me, you did a bunch of damage, yeah, get banished. I mean, for crying out loud, like, get out of here. And you've got some pretty high level spells here now at 14th level. You bring something with a pretty rough saving throw, they're gonna fail it, and you just do whatever you want to them. I think that's wonderful. This is a 10 out of 10 feature. This is great. It covers for if they succeed, it covers for if they fail, and if they succeed, they're still kind of screwed on by the time it gets to your next turn. It's really great. Now keep in mind, this does not help against the second, third, however many attacks. It only applies to the first one, and it does say this attack is wasted. So keep that in mind. If on a failed save, it can't attack you on this turn. So all its attacks cannot go towards you. And the attack, if it doesn't have another target, it's wasted. So yeah, you can cause people to straight up lose their turn on a failed charisma save. And charisma is not the most reliable save for some NPCs. That's pretty great. I love this feature. So where do we land on the College of Glamour Bard? This one's mixed, you know, so we've got really strong beginning and ending features, but then right there in the middle, well, third and sixth, as far as order we talked about, rough, really, really rough. I'm going to split the difference and call this a 7 out of 10. The Unbreakable Majesty is not going to be enough to bring it up super high just because not very many people play to 14th level, so I can't weight that one anymore. The third level feature, though, of Mantle of Inspiration is pretty good. I do think that is very, very useful. I do think that that'll come up quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, who doesn't like temporary HP on a bonus action, plus being able to get out of sticky situations? I think that's great. I think that's very, very useful. Personally, I think that this is more of a multi-classing type of subclass, but we will be building one of these come Friday, so I hope you're looking forward to that. Until then, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Hope you stay safe out there, stay healthy. I know it's hard, and I know that times are rough, but hey, Christmas is right around the corner, and I hope you guys are excited about that. So until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.